Hi, this is Randy Nordell, and this is episode 9 of the SIMnet instructor videos. This episode is on resources, on how to create resources and how to add them to your course. Resources are another object in SIMnet that you create, kind of like exams, whereas sim books and projects are already created for you and you add them to your course. Resources are objects that you can create, and resources are essentially either a file or a link. That's it. So if you go to the content area, choose resources, I can view all the resources that I've created in here. So I have some capstone projects and other things. I have some links to some of my tutorial videos here. So resources really are either files or links to a website that you can add to a course. I'm going to show you how to create one. So if I go to content and click on the create resource, it's going to come up and I can add a title here. I'm going to do a file, but you really only have two choices. You have a file or a link. I'm going to add a file here and I'm going to do it as a project. And for when you think about resources, links that could be to tutorial videos for students to help them out can be included as a resources. Files, you could do projects that are your own projects from the back of the end of chapter projects in the sim book that aren't included as SIMnet project, capstone projects that are outside of SIMnet, all sorts of examples of how you can use a resource. So I'm going to choose file. I'm going to grab my file here, select it, and I saved it on the desktop. And that's my file. And it tells you here you can add integrity detection for this. I'll show you how to do that later. But once you've created your resource, click Next, and it's going to allow you to add it to a course. And like any other object in SIMnet, you could add this to one course or multiple courses. And I'm going to add it to the course we've been using here. And what you'll see is the common assignment details page. Now, if this is just a resource, a file like a syllabus or a additional information handout or a link to a video on YouTube or another video that you've made for your students, what I would suggest is get rid of enable schedule by dates and get rid of show column or deselect the show column in gradebook. So if it's just a resource that you're going to make available, it doesn't need to be scheduled by dates. You can if you want, but not necessary. Show column in gradebook, you could get rid of that also. But if you're going to use it as let's say a project outside of SIMnet, you can do both those. Enable schedule by dates, and I'll go ahead and put a due date in here. And I'll copy that down as well. And the other thing I can do, if it is a project, is I can enable student submission. So I could click on that. I can determine the number of attempts, just like if you were adding a project, a SIMnet project to it. One other thing that you could do is enable integrity detection for the start file. So the file that's associated with this would have that unique student code that as they download the start file, it puts in their unique student signature in there, and that has to be that's used to upload the file. So to check for integrity detection, I will click that, and then just like with projects, you can allow student submission with integrity violations, or you can block it. If this is checked, this allows students to upload a plagiarized file, and you'll get alerted to it on your dashboard and in the gradebook. If you deselect this, it blocks students from uploading a file that does not contain their unique signature, a file that they obtained somewhere else. And students will receive a message that will say, hey, the file you're trying to upload does not contain your unique signature. So I'll just leave that off for now. You could override the points. You could do whatever like you would normally do on any assignment. And click Save. And that is it. So if I go to the Organize view now, let me go to my course and we'll go to Organize. That resource, there's that resource right there. I could take it and put it in Chapter 2 and put it wherever I want. Maybe I'll put it after the first guided project right there. And that is resources. Great to use. I hope this was a helpful video.